here at Delfest with Tommy Mahrer, and Tommy,
Yeah.
the Dobro player for Fireside Collective, who
That's
had
right.
their Delfest debut last night, and then
Yes.
a very large crowd followed them over from the grandstand
Yeah.
to the Potomac stage. It was a
Uh-huh.
great show today, but
Felt good.
Tommy, we're asking people to show us their acts.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about the Dobro, and
Yeah.
Andy Hall has referred to it as that guitar what you rub. But I don't know how many people really understand the difference between a dobro and a guitar, and what makes it a unique instrument, how you play it, that sort of thing.
Well, the dobro is a type of guitar. It's a resonator guitar, and you can see that the body is shaped just like a normal guitar that you would play like this, Spanish style. But the thing that really makes the dobro unique is this resonator cone right here.
The hubcap.
Yeah, the hubcap. And this is where underneath is a speaker cone. And this is what gives it the sound primarily. Whereas an acoustic guitar, like you normally would strum in bluegrass, you get the sound from the top, vibrating the type of wood. This is like the tone is coming from this cone, which gives it kind of a metallic sound that we all know and associate with the dobro. But and it also has this raised action, which is you can only play it with a bar, and then finger picks are the traditional way to play with your right hand. But yeah, I mean the history of the dobros is pretty wild,
Now, I've seen people already strumming a resonator guitar.
Yeah.
Is that a different style of resonator guitar without the raised action, or?
Yeah, exactly. So, any guitar can be like a resonator guitar, but we call this a dobro, and in bluegrass it almost always refers to the lap style dobro with the raised action. But dobro is a brand name, much like Kleenex is a brand. But we just call any sort of facial tissue Kleenex, or Xerox is a brand. Dobro has sort of taken on that sort of ambiguous name as well. Dobro is a brand, but it's just over the years, you call a guitar like this, raised action or not, with the resonator cone, a dobro. But the actual designation for this would be square neck resophonic guitar. Or you could even say lap style square neck resophonic guitar. And this is a beard.
Yeah,
So
tell us about yours.
Yeah, this is a beard. So like I said, it's not it's a dobro, because that's what we call it, that's the nickname. But it is not a dobro brand. It is made by a guy named Paul Beard in Hagerstown, Maryland, and not far from Delfest here. And over the evolution of the dobro, there's been a couple really big players in the building world. Tim Shearhorn, Paul Beard. There's a bunch of other ones, but the dobro's been constantly being innovated. Unlike most of the bluegrass instruments, you kind of want the higher desired instruments are like a Martin from the 40s. Or a banjo from the 30s, like a Gibson. But dobros are different. The best sounding dobros, in most players' opinions, are the modern dobros, because the technology is still changing. So Paul Beard is one of those innovative guys. I think he's been around since the late 80s and constantly evolving the instrument. So he's at what I would consider the forefront of the square neck resophonic world. And he helped design this thing, which is becoming more common. This is a bridge that goes to a different tuning. It's called a hip shot, and this is really revolutionary. So you go from G to D, and all these strings change. So yeah, in Paul's underneath the hood, there's some innovations too that he's done. But yeah, this is an E model, and I got the contoured edges. You can see I've dropped it a few times. Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar, and it's got a pickup in it so we can plug in when we play with Fireside. But yeah, this is a Beard.
And I know you're anxious to get over to the grandstand stage to see Jerry Douglas.
He plays a beard too.
And you know, we've got Rob Ike is going to be right next door here on the Potomac stage today too.
Cool.
So who are some of your Dobro heroes? And
oh man, Jerry is definitely number one. I would say, I mean, honestly, Andy Hall's. I've listened to a lot of Andy Hall via the String Dusters. Rob Ikes is really good at. He's got a jazz sensibility, which is hard to accomplish on the dobro because it's in an open tuning.
How about historically, guys like Josh Graves?
Oh man, of course. I mean, Josh Graves. You mean all the old-timey dobro stuff?
And then he kind of really was the one who put the blues and bluegrass with the dobro.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There would be no dobro and bluegrass without Josh Graves. So definitely Josh Graves. Mike Aldridge was the first dobro player I ever heard before Jerry, and that's what caught my ear, was a seldom seen album called Old Train. And at the beginning, the first song is called Appalachian Rain, I believe, on that album. And it's just an instrumental. And the dobro comes in with these like harmonics, and it's like very chimey.
Well, why don't you take us out with a little dobro music here?
Yeah, I'd love to. So how about I do a little Big Mom? This is a Bill Monroe tune. He hated dobro.
And thank you very much for your time today.
Absolutely.
Mahrer, Fireside Collective. Del, yeah, brother, thank you so much.